Welcome back to Views from the Ridge. I'm Tyler,
I'm Gavin.
And I'm Liam.
and today we are ranking the best movie of the year, Love Hurts.
We have a lot to say about this movie. This is a stinker of a movie, so buckle up.
I actually had high expectations for this movie because I love Ke Huy Quan. I'm not sure how to say his name. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Absolutely great. Deserving awards and everything, but this movie, not so much. I guess we'll just start with the spoiler-free review quickly. Don't spend your money on this movie. If it's out for free, you could go ahead and watch it, and you might get some enjoyment out of it. So there's some parts that are really funny.
Yeah, the action scenes are very good. They're shot very well. He does a great job, but I don't think the other people around him do that great. There's only like 4 people that I think actually did a good job in the movie.
Yeah, there's I'd say the funniest parts of this movie are not the jokes, though. It's the parts that are not supposed to be funny at all, that are just what the hell? Why did they just say that like that? Or what is the direction here? Some of the jokes land, but 70% of them don't. So, yeah.
I think it depends on who's delivering them in this movie. And I'll save some of that for the review later on, but spoiler free, it's basically a poorly written action comedy, and it's like every other poorly written action comedy I've ever seen.
My standout was Marshawn Lynch. I need to see him in more stuff. That's not there's really nothing to spoil for this movie.
That's true.
Besides, you could turn your brain off and watch this, but, do not spend the money to go see it in theaters. Do not. It's not worth it.
My last 2 notes, this is still spoiler free. My last 2 notes during the movie were gave up on notes, I became numb, and took sandpaper to my brain and scrubbed.
Yeah, basically, I agree. I just stopped for the last third of this movie taking notes. I added a couple at the end, but I really couldn't take notes at a certain point. I was just what is going on?
It was a movie of all time. That's all I can say about it at this point.
Think about this movie
For I guess if you really are interested, the letterbox description. It's Love Hurts, directed by Jonathan.
Oh, let me say something about him real quick. Jonathan Eusebio. I looked him up yesterday. This is his first feature film. He is a stuntman. He has been a stuntman in everything in the past. This is his first directorial role.
That makes sense as to why the action and stuff was actually really good.
2 stunts. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't need to direct a movie ever again.
I don't know if it was so much on the director here or the writers, but the direction wasn't absolutely horrible as much as the writing.
Dude,
It wasn't good. It wasn't
There
good.
were certain things when the director definitely could have said, "Okay, let's retake that. That was terrible,"
You're right.
and he just didn't. And then he let one person in this movie do whatever the hell they wanted to do. And every 5 seconds, I wrote in my notes, "This person's cringing me out. This person's cringing me out. This person's cringing me out." It was so icky. I could not watch it.
So yeah, directed by Jonathan Eusebio.
I don't know.
The description is a realtor is pulled back into the life he left behind after his former partner in crime resurfaces with an ominous message. With his crime lord brother also on his trail, he must confront his past and the history he never fully buried. It's a good. What I said to Liam and Gavin was, and this is going to be my saying for this, it had a great idea, but it was so poorly executed that it just wasn't good. And that's all I'm going to say before we go into the spoiler stuff.
One more thing before spoilers. Something that saves itself in this movie is that it doesn't take itself seriously. So that's always a fallback. We were not taking ourselves seriously anyways, so I could be a bad movie. But it wasn't trying to be a bad movie. It just was.
Yeah, for the people that are going to click off, do it now. Do it now.
Yeah.
Red flashing lights, in the last video, spoiler warning.
But honestly, you might as well just watch this spoiler warning review because you don't need to watch the movie.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I
Just
agree.
totally up to you. If you somehow really want to watch this movie,
Yeah.
you can go ahead and keep watching.
I think we
Positive.
all had the same note for the opening.
Yeah, this is the one big positive. Well, no, there's 2 or 3, but the first positive opening song with Ke riding the bike was actually really cool.
It was good. It actually made me think, oh, man, this movie's not going to be that bad. This actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. The lighting, the city, the bike, everything, the world that it set up was really good. I like the vibes. It set it up to be a nice, upbeat movie, and it quickly fell down the ladder.
Yeah, well, the funny story about that, Liam, is you saw the Rotten Tomatoes score before going into the movie, right before.
Yeah.
And
We'll put it on the screen up here.
yeah, it's a rough one, and it's actually valid. But I remember looking at Liam, and I was like, maybe this isn't gonna be that bad because the opening part.
Yeah.
and it kind of just fell off pretty quick after.
Right after, actually, the direct scene after the opening sequence that was good. What the fudge?
Yeah, I know. That was like the first line of the movie almost, and it just says "What the fudge" in front of this billboard, like, and it has no meaning at all.
Right when he did that, we all were just like,
It was like funny off shock value, but it wasn't funny.
No, but it wasn't. It was meant to be like, oh, he said, "What the fudge?" Nice. Like,
Yeah, this is very telling.
oh wow, the red notes are bad, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, red's bad.
Companion did not look like that. Companion notes
was
did.
almost all green. Okay, 2 notes before the fighting. I said I hate the hissing, terrible writing. I don't even think it was writing. She was like hissing like twice or 3 times, and I was like, why is she hissing? And it didn't come back at all later. So I was like, okay. But another thing is very strange sound effects when Marv finds Letter. It was like.
I also said multiple times sound effects are insane. They're also not only insane choices, but they're dialed up like 300 times
Not
volume.
a single sound effect that's like below 120% on the mixer.
Yeah.
So yeah, right after that with the cartoon sound effects, and her name's Ashley. She was honestly not bad. It was just the hissing was so weird because it, like Gavin said, it didn't come back. Like she did it twice.
She got a lot better throughout the movie.
Yeah, with my goat, the Raven, coming up.
Her name is Ashley. Okay, we're not
Okay.
tripping.
All right, but so yeah, right after that, you meet this dude called the Raven, trench coat full of knives. He was hard, and he fights Key in his office, and that was one of my notes. Is the first fight with Raven was actually choreographed really well, in my opinion.
The very creative first fight, but also makes no sense. The thing that makes no sense to me is the like strength of the characters is totally not scaled right at all. And I guess that's maybe I'm hoping it's intentionally like cartoonish like that,
I think it
but
it is.
it's ridiculous at some points.
You know, I think it's definitely meant to be over the top because they probably saw the script after and were like, well, we got to dial the action up to 10.
Yeah. But at that point, they should have focused on making the whole movie that way. There's way too long of droughts without action that are absolutely unbearable.
Every action scene in the movie is good. Every single action scene in the movie is good. And I have 3 notes about that one first scene with the Raven. My first note when I saw him was fever dream fight scene and assassin character. Then his earring switched mid-fight to a completely different colored earring, and that was just a continuity issue. Because I right when I saw him, I was like, they're gonna fuck something up. And I think they covered his tattoo later on, and they didn't do it in the first scene. Yeah, that was just wild. That character's wild, but he did great. The actor did great with that character. He was the highlight of the movie for sure.
Yeah, no, so he was one of my 4 that I liked. And then the next 2 that come up is Marshawn Lynch's character, which I don't even know what his name was. King? Was
King
it?
and O.
His name was O? So them 2 were like the best part of the movie.
Yep.
It was
They were.
we need a side movie of them.
Yeah,
but
King
actually
and O.
either that or the Raven.
They can be in it, both of them. That would
All
be
3?
way better than this movie.
If they even lived, I don't know.
Oh, true.
We actually don't know.
I think they did because they were talking and they were like, he got a text from his wife, full circle. So
I started taking notes during that scene where they came, which was almost directly after the Raven scene.
right after.
I said I'm enjoying the score in multiple scenes transferring between those, but it sounds like Lego City Undercover the whole time.
I thought that the entire time.
And I love that music, but it was a little bit overdone at a certain point. When they did it the first time, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. And then
I think you didn't write this, Liam, but this is before that. Knuckles' mouth wasn't moving at all when he was talking the first time.
multiple times, about 3 times through the movie, either his mouth wasn't moving and he was apparently talking, because I was so confused. I was like, who is talking? And it was showing him, and he was like,
He definitely went over and voiced over his lines later on, but they did not make his mouth move at all.
and that happened a lot. Or his mouth was moving and it did not match.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was
Yeah,
really
they dubbed over him. It was weird. Marshawn and his character King and Otis, they pull up to Marv, which is Key's character later, and that fight was really, really good. The fight between them 2 and Marv.
I agree completely. I wrote King and Otis dynamic is good. Sound effects way over the top. And 2 things in that fight. I said Ki Hoi Hwan flying through the air was very entertaining. Like he was getting thrown around and stuff, and it was really, really well done. And I like how it followed the Realtor of the Year plaque during that fight.
Yes.
Like going in the microwave into the fridge. Get in the fridge.
that was cool. That was great. And the first thing I think I noted about that fight was they have super soldier serum, and Raven can barely do anything, but these 2 guys can get him instantly. because Raven was obviously way more trained than them, and then these two dudes just punch him, and he's like, "Ugh!" and he's subdued.
Like
Like,
he spewed blood out of his mouth from a kick to the back.
yeah.
I was like, what the
I was like, these dudes are literally super soldiers, bro.
It's not a consistent movie at all. Not consistent. It's everywhere. It actually goes all over the place.
There
With
was a couple middle-aged dudes in the theater absolutely eating it up, though.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
They loved it.
That's not a movie meant for us. I think that's it's a fast food. It's a fast food movie. Like you don't like it seems good at first, and then afterwards you're like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I wrote 3 other things that are negative in that scene. Everything breaks like it's made of foam. Like the railing and the stuff was just breaking. Like they'd touch it and it would just fall off the edge of the balcony. The kids laughing at her tasing them was the most unneeded scene I've ever watched in any movie ever. And then she was just like, bow. And I was like, what the hell why was that in the movie? Also, what was the point of Otis looking at the gnome when he woke up and ominous music playing?
And that was in the middle of a whole different scene somewhere else. It cut back to Otis waking up and seeing a gnome's head, and then it switched back. He was like, what?
Yeah, I don't see the point of it, but he did get hit in the head with the gnome.
Yeah.
But like that still doesn't
It
make
was
sense.
Also, way later, they cut back to that and then left again, and that was all you saw. Like, what? There were so many little snipped scenes that you're like, why did they choose to include this?
Yeah, it was weird. And then the next best part of the movie was Ashley and Raven.
Yep.
That was my next note. Is Raven and Marv's assistant Ashley are like hilarious
I
together.
wrote 4 things about the same person before that scene, though. What the fuck are Rose's scenes with corny music? It's cringing me out. Rose's facial expressions are wild. All songs are up to 500%. And Rose's delivery is wild in the car scene, cringing me out again.
The thing is, like, I feel like maybe half of it is like her fault, but I feel like some of it's just her character. Like, is just written terribly.
yeah,
Like, I don't think it's mostly her fault. Like, I
That
feel
was
like
the worst written character in the whole movie.
no, Merlot. The
Oh, yeah.
guy,
Oh, yeah,
no,
yeah,
Merlot was even worse. Merlot is like the right hand man of Marv's brother, and he is the worst character I'd ever watched. And
Dude, that's crazy.
like,
He just randomly comes in, and then he doesn't come in for the rest of the movie, and then he comes in again, and it's really bad.
like
Dude.
he's written to try and be some like cool right hand man, like I'm stealing from my boss. Like I don't care. We gotta kill these people.
Yeah.
But like I don't even think it's like his fault. Like again, I feel like a lot of the stuff in this is just their characters are written so bad that the actors didn't even know what to do with it. And so like I don't want to put blame on the actors because they're definitely trying their hardest. But like I feel like the writers could have done something better about their characters.
Any movie that has Rose in it, that's the worst written character automatically. The fact that this has a worse written character than her tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything.
Yeah. I think it's funny that the best like romance in this movie wasn't the 2 leads. It was the Raven and Ashley. They killed it. They were the best part of the movie by far. Their random love scenes were so funny.
Honestly, I didn't think the romance acting was even that bad between Rose and Marv. It's just you can't get over the fact that he's 20 years older than her. They look like they don't go together at all. If they looked like they went together more, it would have gone across a lot better.
You know, I wrote Rose and Marv isn't very believable at times, and then at the end, I didn't change it, but in my mind, they are not believable at all.
Or their personalities. Like their looks and their personalities don't go together whatsoever.
Which I mean, hey, all power to you, Key, but like I just don't believe it, man. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm a hater.
I have
Next,
4 more things about Rose. Rose's mannerisms are cringing me out again. Why is her head bobbing back and forth every time she... Sorry about that. Rose's mannerisms are cringing me out again. Why is her head bobbing back and forth every single time she talks? This writing is really bad, and the plot doesn't follow a single storyline at all. It has so many set up, and it doesn't go with any one of them, and it just kind of just forgets them.
it literally gives up on every storyline. I wrote, this feels like an adult kids movie, if that makes sense. It's written like a kids movie, like a kids action movie, except with adults, and they cuss. Like that's exactly what it felt like to me. I said story feels very forced and very hard to get into. And one little thing that was horrible, the continuity, was Kippy, who also was like, what is this character?
This face?
Yeah, the
Every
whole
2
time.
seconds.
Also, the effects on his fake teeth looked horrible.
Yeah, and of course he had that bust up teeth because he's a Kiwi.
Yeah. And then he got punched in the mouth. All this blood spews out of his mouth all over his chin. And then the camera cuts to a different angle. No blood. None.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. It's just feel bad for him, man.
I wrote what the actual fuck are Kippy's facial expressions.
Yeah, no, the best part of this is the action, and then the Raven, Marshawn Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch's Otis, King and Otis. And Key does great, too. Like, he does great. He does what he can with what he was given.
Funny, bro. He was hilarious. They were actually so funny.
Yeah, they carried the movie. They carried it. Them and the Raven carried the movie. Oh, and Random Properties brother.
Oh, I go high,
yeah.
you go low. Yeah, no, that was funny. Yeah, so one of my next notes was Merlot is not great. I really don't even want to waste breath on that guy, like that character. That was awful.
I didn't even remember his name until he was in the movie for at least an hour.
Yeah. I have one thing to say about him. Valentine's Day, right? What is the point of that line, number one, writers? And number two, why did you deliver it like that, dude?
Yeah, no, I just feel bad for the actor that he was just handed that and was told to do that.
The director's like, oh, that was great.
Yeah, one-shot wonder. Yeah. I feel like all of these were one-shot wonders, by the way. I feel like they got only one angle of these and took one take.
That's what it felt like. That's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah, no, I also said the humor had really high highs, but then at the same time it had some of the lowest of lows I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And it was just the movie was all over the place. Like, one second you'd be so into the movie, and then the next they say something so dumb, or they do some dumb facial expression that just takes you out of it, and you're like, wait, I'm watching this.
Yeah.
Like, what am I watching?
Why is Sean Astin in this movie? As a random tiny part that has like maybe 20 lines in the movie, and it's Sean Astin.
And then he gets stabbed in the eye by a boba straw.
Boba straw, and it kills him instantly. And he has to pan his head over to the camera. Like, okay, dude. And why does it make lion sound effects every time it says monster?
Every time. He's my little monster. The sound effects were actually ridiculous.
Every single action scene in this movie was great, I thought. I thought the fighting, the stunts were really, really, really well done in every single scene.
Yeah. I said the fights are brain-numbing fun entertainment. They were very well done. The action was really good, and the cinematography during this fight scenes was really good as well.
If you've ever seen like Mortal Kombat like storyline cutscenes when they're like fighting 100 people, that's what it looks like, and it looked good.
I only have two more things to say about the movie, and they're actually positives. Well, no. One of them's a very big negative that made me hate the movie, and the other is a positive. And I said, Key, honestly, I want to see him in more action roles because he just moved so fluid. Like, it was like like, that sounds kind of weird, but it was like mesmerizing to watch, like how he moved.
He's perfect at it. You need to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, because in that movie his action is amazing, and it's it's like if you take him out of the movie we just watched and you put him in that movie, it's like a million times better version.
He's the same exact character though, like 100%.
Basically the exact same character. That's what I said earlier.
Wait, are they in the same? Are they?
He's totally a multiverse of him. He's a different version of him.
That's what Liam whispered that to me halfway through the thing. He said, "Is this like a variant of Wayman?"
That's what it felt like. I mean, it was basically the same guy, same old nice guy.
Oh, great! I have three more things about Rose as my wrap up. Well,
you're the biggest hater.
One more good thing. Raven fatality was awesome. When he like got the blades out and he like kicked him backwards.
He double drop kicked him.
Yeah, that was
Dude,
awesome.
it was so fire.
Straight out of WWE. Three things about Rose, real quick. Shotgun should have blown her skull off. It was aimed like a pistol. Like, he just shot it, and none of the blasts went to her at all. Twice. And why did she do a lip trill when she picked up the gun? That was so insane. It feels like I'm watching like TikTok cringe compilations. And why does she randomly know Russian? And why did it come onto the screen like a PowerPoint transition?
Oh my god, that was really bad. That was bad.
One of those just added something to my like hate list. Is dude, the guns were so inconsistent in this movie. No bullet ever hit except for one in the right between the Property Brothers' eyes. That was the only bullet that I think actually hit somebody.
And it's like all these trained killers can't hit a standing target with a gun. Like, come on, bro. And it's a shotgun sometimes.
Yeah, and an Uzi, bro. Yeah. How do you miss shots with an Uzi when he's He's not even sprinting. He's jogging.
He's like, the Raven slowly did a little roll into a corner. He's like fucking 6'8".
Yeah,
you definitely
big.
could have hit him.
Yeah.
Another
thing about that scene real quick, where the Raven had the fatality. I said that was the best scene in the movie to me, that fight scene in the house. And then I realized, I wonder why. Oh, maybe because the only 4 good characters are in that scene.
Yeah.
That's why that's the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, no, it was actually only Lim and Ashley was there too. And Ashley wasn't even that bad. Like, she just
No,
was really weird at first, but then she
Yeah.
gets better
All of
after.
a sudden, oh, no more hissing. Like,
Yeah, okay, that made me hate her. I was like, this is gonna be the worst unbearable character in the entire movie. But she was fine after that.
My last thing I'm going to honestly say about the movie before we do some quick rankings, I feel like we're all going to be the same. My last thing was honestly, this is a movie that suffered from being too short. Like, they should have done more flashbacks because in the last fight, the brother's like, remember, little bro, you could never beat me in a fight.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you telling us
like we
this
know
now
that.
instead
And-
of showing something?
and randomly never told you played baseball.
I know.
And then
And
there's
it
a
had
baseball
no relevance. It had no relevance.
And he's like longingly looking at this baseball picture. Never mentioned again.
Like, they bring up stuff like you're supposed to know what the movie is before you go in. Like, they don't, like, flashback to, like, anything. You're just told that this man's a trained killer.
Yeah, I think maybe there's another movie like a prequel to this that we didn't watch. We were supposed to know all this.
It feels like it feels like a part 2.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's my biggest issue with why I don't like this movie is, like, it was so short and it gives you no backstory, but you're expected to know what's going on.
What I wrote in my notes was this plot creates a lot of questions and answers none of them. If it answered the questions that it created, it could have been a really good movie.
Yeah, I agree. Also, the one flashback in the movie is Rose randomly in a conversation. She's transported back to the desert, and he frees her. And that's the least needed flashback in the entire movie for plot. She could have just said that, or someone could have brought it up. But no, she had to go to a flashback scene, the only one in the movie.
You know, like, the only thing with the brother annoys me so much because, like, he says you can never beat me, but we have no reason to believe the older brother because we haven't seen him fight anything.
Yeah,
He's just this big mob boss. The only thing we've seen him do was stab his brother's boss in the eye with a boba straw.
And he had the line delivery. There's only one thing though. I'm his only brother.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. Do you guys have anything else to say?
Nothing else to say. I'm ready to
Okay, we need the categories again.
All right. Here we go, ranking the categories again. The categories are cinematography, acting, writing, meaning, score, for the genre, and rewatchability. So 7 categories we have as of right now, and let's just go ahead and start ranking them. Starting with cinematography, I'm giving the cinematography a 5.5. It actually wasn't that bad. The cinematography wasn't that bad. I would say it was the most slightly above average I've ever seen, so 5.5.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna give it a 6. Like, cause there were some shots like with action that were actually shot good.
Yeah.
But like that's like I can only think of like 2 off the top of my head. But like there were no shots that made me so mad that I have to give it lower than mid.
I'm going to give it a 4, dude. There were a couple of shots. That flashback scene had the worst hue on it I've ever seen in my life. Some of the random, like, car scenes were, like, this deep red, like, tint over them, and it was, like, really, really bad. But the fight scenes were shot good. But, like, man, everything else outside of that was horrible.
There was a couple actually randomly just good shots. There was one shot, like 2 seconds of his bracelet, and I was like, oh, that bracelet's going to be important. Oh, no, it's not actually. It's not important at all.
You know what?
Yeah. And there was a couple car scenes. I love those car shots of the side, like where you see him in the mirror and it's like following, like on the car. I just like those shots.
Can I
but-
change my thing? Is that cool? I'm going to just go 5 then, because I like the over-the-head spinning shot a lot. And that was, like, a really, really good shot, so that boosts my score up. Yeah, 5. Yeah, very mid movie for what you can see in the theaters nowadays. All right, acting. Oh my God. I'm gonna go with a 2 for acting, dude. I mean, I'm sorry, I love Ke Huy Quan, but dude, that is Wayman. There was no diversity in your acting right there, dude. I love you. You are the most positive person in Hollywood, but bro, that's not even really your fault necessarily, because the writing is really just Wayman. But man, I think they wrote the part for him. So, but dude, Rose, that was horrible. I'm sorry. If you see this, I'm sorry. That was horrible. I saw you on Broadway, and I can tell from that performance. Just stick to it. Probably make more money on Broadway anyways. And the only good people acting were like 3 side characters. And what's his name? Merlot, bro, that's a 0. You gotta get the hell out of acting, bro. I'm sorry. Okay, 2.
I'm gonna give it a 4 because there were only 4 roles that I actually liked, and that was the Raven, Key's part, Marv, Marshawn Lynch, who was actually like low key the best of all of them, and then Marshawn Lynch's other guy, his partner Otis. Yeah, though I'm gonna give it a 4 because there were actually 4 good roles.
I'm man. I'm giving it a 2 as well. It was really bad. Really bad. And you have an Oscar winner actor for what? Best supporting actor?
Yeah.
And this is a 2 out of 10 acting. It's your standout actor in this movie was an NFL player that's never acted before in his life.
He's done commercials.
Okay, yeah. Well,
That's not like acting. He's played
bro.
himself in commercials.
he basically played himself in the movie too. Beast mode.
Yeah, he actually said beast mode as he tackled somebody, and that was low-key one of the best parts of the movie. It wasn't actually cringy.
I was
Acting's
dying.
gonna have to be a 2 out of 10, bro. It was really bad. And well, what's next? Writing.
Writing
Let me get into writing real quick. So acting was a 2. Writing is a 1 out of 10. This writing is absolute dog horse shit. I'm not even joking, bro. I have never written anything in my life. I could have written a better script for this movie easily.
Yeah.
1.
I'm giving it a 1 because the idea seems so good, and the movie, like the writing's just like not good at all. It's not good. I really have nothing else to say. It's just not good. It is like a 1. It's bad.
You know, I'm gonna be generous, and I'm gonna go 1.5 because listen. There's like 1 or 2 good monologues from what's his name, Marvin. Yeah,
That's true, actually.
but that's it. That's the only good redeemable writing in the whole movie. So everything else, every other scene besides those maybe minute in the movie is absolute dog water trash. So 1.5. And what's the next one?
Meaning.
Okay, there's 0 message. If I go 0, I go 0. The meaning is beat the fuck out of people with their hands.
Yeah, we can give it 0.
I thought it was 1 through 10, but okay, 0. Okay, well, if I could go below 1, I'd give it a 0, but 1. That's horrible.
Yeah, no, I picked up nothing besides like,
Leave your old life behind.
yeah,
Chase your-
leave your old life behind. Like hiding. She said it. Rose said it like 10 times. Hiding is not living. Bro, like who is actually hiding that hard that they need this message? Like they need to have this shit resonate with them.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
he's
not
doing
gonna
the
work.
opposite of hiding. His face is on every damn
Dude,
billboard.
like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. So this is like a 1 again.
Yeah, it's a 1. There's no meaning. There's no meaning of this movie. But then again, a movie like this doesn't need to have meaning at the same time.
Yeah, no.
So that's fine. Like that's not what you're looking for in this movie anyway. So it's not a big deal. So 1. It's a 1.
Okay, bro. Soundtrack score. Go ahead.
Bro, it's not that bad to me.
Really?
I'm giving this score actually like a 5.5 because a lot of the original music was a little overdone, but I think it really fit that movie well because that movie did not take itself seriously. So a little bit of that weird spy saxophone music every once in a while.
Every once in a while, every scene.
Yeah, but I actually kind of enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it added to the comedic value sometimes. So I would give the score 5.5.
I'm gonna give it a 6, just because the opening scene was very good,
was.
and I don't know. I've got to give something a little bit. I gotta give it a little bit of love for something. I guess for its genre will be higher.
I agree that the original music's good, but it would be a lot better if it was actually mixed well and it wasn't at 500% volume every time it played. Every sound effect's 500%, and the sound effects add into this. And if I heard a tiger growl for one more time in that movie, I would have left the theater. So I'm gonna go with like a 3 for its genre. You could watch any other action movie and actually get more out of it. So I'm gonna go like 2.5.
I think I'm gonna go 4.5. Because, I mean, yeah, just like Gavin said, it's like just below mid. Because, like, some of the action's really good. Actually, no, I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 5. Because Marshawn Lynch and, like, The Raven were actually really cool. And I guess you could find characters like that in other action movies, but they were done pretty good here. I like Raven and his, like, knives and stuff.
I'm gonna give it a 4 because I'm viewing this as an action comedy, like action/comedy both. But if you want to watch an action, it should have had more action, and if you want to watch a comedy, it should have had more comedy. It was not mixed well at all. Like they didn't go together to me at all in this movie.
That's why I give it such a low rating. It
Like-
doesn't stick to one.
It doesn't, and it should have had more action, and it still could have been funny, but it didn't. So the action in this movie was great, but it was not enough. There wasn't enough of it to actually enjoy it to me, because there's so long droughts that it literally was an hour and 20-minute movie that felt like 3 hours. because of how bad the plot was when there was no action.
Don't forget, it was supposed to be a romance movie too. I don't know if you picked that up, but it definitely was supposed to be a romance movie.
Dude.
Worst romance movie I've ever seen in my life.
I'll say it again. Like, if they made the movie a little bit longer and added some backstory, like, it might have been, like, a little bit of, like, it may not have been groundbreaking. It would have been, like,
Yeah.
just below Companion. Like, it would have been fun, at least, and you would have understood what the movie was trying to say. Rewatchability.
Honestly, bro, 6. I would rewatch this movie because I actually think I would laugh at it even harder a second time. I give it a 6.5. 6.5.
Dude, I deadass, I think I'm going to give it a 6. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 just because I want to take someone to this movie and lie to their face about how good it is, just so they could I just want to see the reaction. I just want to see what people are going to do or what they're going to say to me after the movie. I just want I will lie to someone and tell them that it is amazing just so they can go see it.
Yeah. Okay. So many people know this about me, but my favorite movie of all time is Troll 2, which I think we need to make a video about our favorite movies. Also, but that movie is like probably the worst movie of all time. So the rewatchability though, to just make people watch it, like say, hey, look at this movie, it's really good, and then they watch the movie. They just that alone, just to tell people to watch the movie. And like I'd watch it and watch their face, but I'm not even watching the movie. I'm watching their face while they're watching it because it's so trash. It's a steaming pile of horse shit. But yeah, as they want me to say, I'm not touching this movie with a 40-inch pole ever again. Yeah, 40-foot pole, 40-foot pole.
That was the last thing he said.
Yeah, that was the last thing he said after leaving the theater. I would not touch that movie with a 40-foot pole.
Okay, well, for other people to watch it, I'm just gonna give it a 5 because on my end it's a 0, but like on anyone else's end it's like a 9. So yeah.
Who was giving this a 9?
No, like, but on anyone else's end, like in the middle of if I'd watch it again, or if I want someone to watch it.
Oh, okay. I get what you.
Down about a 5.
I thought you were saying someone's gonna think it's a 9. I was like,
me too.
what are you talking about?
No, me too. The only people actually genuinely, for some reason, I feel like just boomers would love this movie.
They did. They loved it.
Yeah, they walked out of the theater. That was good. Yeah, they loved it. They loved it.
Keep in mind, we walked out of Terrifier. That was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Walked out of Nosferatu. That was shitty. I mean, you watch Love Hurts and they're chuckling and they think it's the best movie of all time.
But I have nothing else to say.
Okay, theater
Yeah.
movie or not? We got to do our tiers.
So the 4 tiers were must watch in theater. That was the best tier. Tier 2 was discount tickets. That's where we put companion.
Yeah.
Tier 3 was wait till streaming, and tier 4 is hot steaming shit. Don't watch it. And for me, this movie is actually not the lowest tier. I would say wait till streaming because I think it has a little bit of comedic value. So
Yeah, I would also. I think I would. I don't know. That's the thing, because it's so bad that like I want to tell people not to watch it, but I want to troll someone into watching it so bad when it's on streaming that I think I'm gonna put it in the wait till streaming.
yes, sir.
Okay, so here's my thing. Like I said, I would never watch this again. So if I'm by myself, I'm never looking up Love Hurts. I'm never looking up an L even to see it pop up. Dude, I think, and if I had to recommend an actual movie to someone, this is steaming pile of dog shit. And if it could go below that, it would. So I'm gonna put it in there and leave it and not even get close to it. So
All right. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to say?
don't watch this movie unless you want to watch something that's just absolutely terrible and you make fun of it.
And if you do, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this a lot.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Hating is fun.
If you want to hate on a movie and see how actually bad, if I was literally trying to nitpick this movie, my notes would have been at least 10 pages long. Like, genuinely.
And like I feel bad because like I feel like there aren't bad actors in this movie. It's just it was a riot.
Merlot is terrible, dude. He can't be in a Hollywood set ever again. No, I don't want to see him ever again.
I feel bad because I feel like most of them are good. They just got handed a bad script.
Yeah, it's mostly the script, too. That's why I gave writing a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say I feel bad hating this hard, but it's a bad movie, and I think it's on the script.
Yeah, I agree. For the most part, it's the script. And to Merlot, if you're seeing this, I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to be good in the movie, and I want to see you succeed as an actor. I want to see you succeed. So, but the writers, you need to never write a movie again. Like, I don't care about the writers in this. You gotta go.
I think this director, this stuntman director, just hired smut writers and told them to write this. Right? They said, "Hey, write a funny action," and this is what came out.
No, he handled all the action, and he was like, I don't care what you write. I'm just gonna have these scenes in it.
Yeah, This is the movie that no one's gonna put on their IMDb. Like Ke Huy Quan, you're not gonna see this on his IMDb. You're never gonna see this on anyone's resume because they don't want to be brought up with it. So
You know, it was so bad I forgot to review it on Letterboxd, and I need to do that now. Actually, I'm gonna give it a 1 star probably,
Yeah.
maybe 1.5.
Okay. That's it.
I think that's it. Thank you
Well,
for
see y'all.
watching.
Thank
Yep.
y'all for watching. Peace. That's it.
Yeah, we have nothing else to say. Have a good night.
love hurts.
Oh God.